Hi guys, welcome back to the Stephen's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making an American classic. We're making my take on a classic chocolate chip cookie. So I'm going to run you guys through the ingredients really quick and then we're going to get started.
Alright, so the things that you're going to be needing is some all-purpose flour, some baking soda, some salt, just brown sugar. I know what you're thinking. What? Most cookies use a combination of white and brown. Just brown sugar for these. We're going to be using a stick of salted butter, a little bit of butter flavored shortening. If you don't have butter flavored, you can just use a regular type of vegetable shortening. I have 2 eggs here. I have some semi-sweet chocolate chips. You can use any kind you'd like. This is just my preference. I have some molasses, some cinnamon, and a little bit of vanilla extract. Alright, so if you watch any of my other videos, you know that I never take butter out in time, so I'm going to pop this into the microwave for about 20 to 30 seconds or until it gets a little bit softer so we can cream it with the sugar. Alright, so now that my butter and shortening is a little bit softer, I'm going to toss it in to my KitchenAid mixer. And I just have this ready with a paddle attachment, and then I'm going to be adding in my brown sugar. I'm going to lock my mixer, and you can do this with a whisk, a bowl, and a wooden spoon if you don't have a KitchenAid. I'm just being lazy today. So I'm going to cream this together, and then I will show you guys the next step. That looks perfect, so I'm just going to lift up my mixer. Next thing I'm going to do is add in my 2 eggs. Alright. And then I'm also at this step going to be adding in a dash of vanilla extract. You can also use vanilla paste if you have that. I am out, unfortunately. So now I'm just going to mix this up again. Now this is a key ingredient that's not in most chocolate chip cookie recipes. If you think about it, the base of a chocolate chip cookie is basically a molasses cookie with chocolate chips in it. So I always add in about a tablespoon of that. So I'm just going to add that into the mixer at this stage. And I'm going to mix that up. This is going to give you like that caramel flavor and that chewy consistency. All right. Perfect. Alright, making our way here. I'm going to just add a little bit of cinnamon into my dry ingredients. And then I'm going to toss all of that on into the mixer. And I'm going to slowly incorporate these until a nice soft dough forms. Alright, this is perfect. You really don't want to overmix this because you don't want a dense cookie. You want a nice soft cookie. So what I'm going to do now, before I fold in my chocolate chips, is I'm going to clean down my batter. I'm going to clean down the batter off of the mixer. I'm going to take the bowl off, and I am just going to give this a nice fold with my spoon. As you can see, this did all incorporate perfectly, but if you've worked with the KitchenAid before, you know that sometimes it can leave some dry ingredients at the bottom. So I just wanted to make sure that we're avoiding that. So now the last ingredient is going into the mixer, and I'm going to mix this just until incorporated, not a second more, because you don't want to break up the chocolate chips, and you also don't want, again, to overwork the cookie mix. Perfect, that's it. That's all I'm mixing it. So now I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to clean the batter off of my mixer, and then I am going to meet you guys at the counter with a parchment paper lined cookie sheet, and I will show you guys the next step. Look at that, it's gorgeous. So the next step is I'm going to throw this whole container into the fridge for about 20 to 30 minutes or until it's a little bit chilled, and then I will show you guys the next step. Alright, so my cookie dough chills for about 40 minutes. So all I'm going to do now is take a small cookie scoop. If you don't have a cookie scoop, it's 2 tablespoons of dough. And I lined my baking sheet with parchment paper. So now, really important for these cookies, and if you don't have a cookie scoop, you can just roll them into balls. You're going to pop it onto your cookie sheet and take the palm of your hand and press it down just a little bit. It just helps, gets a little bit more of an even bake. And also, these chocolate chip cookies, with the recipe and with the method, they get nice and thin, they have a crispy outside edge, and they get chewy in the middle.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and punch out all my cookies, give them a nice little flatten. I'm gonna pop, once these are all done, I'm gonna pop these into the oven at 350 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes or until they have a nice like golden brown around the edges. And then I will show you guys the last step to make these cookies ultimate. All right, so my cookies baked at 350 for exactly 12 minutes and they look perfect. But the last step, and that is crucial for this, is when they come out of the oven, they're gonna be a little bit puffed up, and that's not what we want. If you just let them sit there, they'll sort of settle and thin out a little bit, but what I like to do to speed up the process, whoop. All right, now you can see that they've kind of settled down a little bit. This is going to ensure that they're nice and crispy on the outside and chewy on the inside. So now I'm going to leave them in the hot pan because they are going to continue to cook for a few more minutes because the pan is very hot. And then I will meet you guys over here when they are nice and cooled and we'll have a taste test. All right, so my cookies have cooled for a few minutes and I already took a taste because I couldn't help myself, but take another taste. They're so good. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. They're not cakey. There's nothing worse than a cakey chocolate chip cookie. These are a winner. I will put the recipe down below. Tell me if you guys like this recipe, if you try it out. And that's it. Feel free to subscribe to the Stevens Kitchen and to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video.